Welcome back into another episode of Rock Boys Football. Today we are doing a recap on our team, the team we watch and read about the most, the Michigan Wolverines. Saturday morning we played, not Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Michigan played Western Michigan. Big expectations and kind of a year that needs to be good for Jim Harbaugh and this Michigan football team. They look good. As a fan, I was happy to see a lot of things. Dill, what did you see in this game?
Yeah, I thought outside of the first quarter, which was a little rocky, honestly, I think they really tightened it up and just started dominating in every phase. I wish we got to see a little more of Cade McNamara. Like, I thought he looked good at the times he was throwing, but we really were just running the ball really well with Haskins and Corum.
Yeah.
So it's like he made that throw to Cornelius Johnson, big time throw. That throw to Ronnie Bell, obviously on the touchdown, huge. So he showed like he has the ability to
two
make
really good throws to Ronnie Bell.
Yeah, even the one that got called back for the OPI, that was stupid. Like, have a sense of the moment one time, Raf.
It's not. I don't even think it was that bad. Like it just seemed to be just hand fighting. But
yeah, I mean, he may have done it, but it's like you can't call that on an offensive player. I don't think, especially when the defender is pretty handsy too. So
exactly.
Yeah, I thought like Cade looked good. My biggest takeaway from the offense is like Blake Corum's a guy who I legitimately think can win a Heisman. Like, he is incredibly good, and what he really does at a super high level is that ability to like have a guy in a hole. So he's got one guy versus one in a hole and make them miss quickly and get going. And that's how you be an ultra consistent running back and spring big plays. So I think you saw both of it. He really never was having negative plays or plays that weren't going for any yards. We were always positive, and we were hitting enough big plays with him to. We had not. I mean, he just looked so good. I thought the offensive line looked pretty good. Not like, I don't think he'd be a dominant unit, but like good enough.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Blake Corum and Hassan Haskins go, it's funny because they're kind of like polar opposites. They're both really good running backs for us, but they're kind of polar opposites. Hassan Haskins kind of like taller, kind of string bean. He's strong, but he's a little bit more of like a string bean, and he like has tremendous contact balance, but he's always taking contact. Blake Corum's a little bit better with what you kind of said, super smooth, making people miss, and then what you said, he has 4.5, 4.4 speed to just hit the home run ball. We saw it on the kick return as well. Both those running backs are going to be really, really good. You spell in Donovan Edwards when you need. So we got a good looking running game for a long time in Ann Arbor. As far as Cade McNamara, I wish we just let him do a little bit more. Outside of that deep throw to Ronnie Bell, we didn't really ask him to push the ball down the field that much. Out of he went 9 of 11. So like his 2 incompletions, I feel like were just 2 balls that were bad.
6, right? Yeah. Yep.
But then like 4 or 5 of his completions were just kind of like dump offs to the running backs on swing passes.
Couple to Eric All that were short.
Yeah,
who actually had a good game. I was happy to see him play well because we need him.
We need him to play well. I think he caught all 3 of his targets. I'm looking at Cornelius Johnson caught a out route or like a little just like comebacker and like a quick slant on that long 3rd and long. Like other than that, like we didn't really ask him to do that much. So I would like
You're just running the ball really well. So what's the point? I'm not like disappointed in how the game was called because we were scoring. Again, after the first quarter, we were scoring when we touched it, and we were incredibly good on special teams, obviously. Blake Corum's going to definitely take at least 2 kicks to the house. I know it. So, yeah, I mean.
For us, Ronnie's hurt. I know we had.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested or hoping that works out okay. I know we haven't gotten the MRI or the disparity yet, but.
Yeah, we'll see. I heard it might be an ACL, but let's just wait till the news comes out. But at the end of the day, especially in a game like this when you're up 3 scores going into the second half. It looks like you're kind of in cruise control. Like maybe let Cade just get a little bit aggressive, give him some reps, throwing the ball downfield because you're gonna need him to do that at some point. And so why not let him get some work doing it?
But like we were I mean, I get that we didn't a ton, but like we had the ball on the 30 like multiple times.
Yeah.
For drives, and he did have the bomb to Ronnie Bell, and
that's about
I think really like what we're gonna need is just him to convert third downs, which he did.
That is a big thing. I think that's why Cade won the job, and at the end of the day, is he makes the quick decisions and he makes accurate throws. Like obviously, when you saw JJ McCarthy come in, much more pop, much more arm talent. We all know that. But Cade is really quick and really accurate and just super consistent. And that's really like what's the most important aspect of a quarterback. And you get a guy like Joe Milton who has a super big arm and big body, and yeah, that's sexy. But if you're not making fast decisions and you're very inaccurate and not consistent, you're not going to be a good quarterback. So I think at the end of the day, that's what Cade does really well. And we saw that yesterday, hitting Eric on a few slants. Obviously, when he gets that single coverage to Ronnie Bell, throws it up top to him. So one other note on the offense before we move on to the defense is I love getting the ball in space. So like a guy like AJ Henning or Roman Wilson, like establishing that run and then giving that end around. That's sex. Like we need.
Yeah, what they both went for 40. I mean, Hennings went for 75 and a touchdown, and Romans went for at least like it looked like 40, 30 yards.
Roman Wilson easily could have housed that too. Like that was like kind of just like one man to beat.
Really. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited for like using those guys better than maybe we did last year, which I don't think we really used them a ton. So
yeah, we tried to use a lot of Giles too in that, but I think AJ Henning is. I mean, Roman Wilson and AJ Henning have legit burners, so.
Yeah, I agree with that. They both can play. And I think Cornelius Johnson's probably going to be the best pure wide. I mean, he really is a very good pure wide out in my mind. Bigger, runs good routes. It looks like, and catches most balls. So it's
super strong hands. I agree.
I think he's going to get a lot of play.
Sorry, keep going.
No, I just think he's going to play a lot more this year than maybe he did last year. It's
when they had that offsides call and Cade hit. For one, very good ball by Cade. Cornelius Johnson's coming back to the ball. That's like a long throw. Cade puts it right on the money. And Cornelius makes a pretty nice contested catch. That's kind of who he is. Just big, runs good routes, good hands. It's like what you need. I mean, he spells guys like AJ Henning, Roman Wilson, Mike Sanishill well. So, and then Dalen Baldwin with a little connection with JJ. So that was exciting to see.
I don't know. I wonder where he fits in. It's like it's top. It's crowded room. I mean, if Ronnie's out, he might give him a shot to play more. But even then, we're still rolling pretty deep with guys who might be more talented, more electric, and play a little better for what we're gonna do. Which I don't think is going to be a ton of deep throwing. Like it'll be I know Gaddis said he wants to ground and pound, which I hope we can do. We've never really been a good running team under Josh Gaddis, so if he can establish that, that would be better, I think. But I don't know where Dalen Baldwin exactly fits into how we're going to be playing based on what the other guys bring to the table, which is a lot more athleticism and make plays with the ball.
Yeah.
Also, he's not better than Cornelius Johnson, so that makes it really tough.
Maybe he's not. Yeah, I don't know. I like him a lot. I want to see him a little bit more. I mean, it's one target, one for a 69-yard touchdown. So, anyways, I mean, to sum up, I like what we saw from the offense. Our two running backs looked phenomenal. Offensive line looks solid. I do have concerns about Chuck again. Chuck Filiaga.
I thought he looked way better than he did.
It's better, but like I don't know when Zinter came in, like what Zinter looked like more. I also when it's like you have two guys, like I would go with the more higher potential and younger guy. But I can't complain much about how the offensive line looked. We looked good. JJ had clean pockets. Blake Corum and Hassan had good holes to run through. So we're not complaining about that. And this one more thing. This Western Michigan team's not bad. Like that quarterback had the third highest QBR in the country last year, just behind, I think, Mac Jones and I forget the other guy. All like stat, I think returned 76 starts in the offensive line. So this team's not bad. Like this wasn't a pushover team, and we look good against a solid team. So, all right, let's move over to the defense. This is like one of the more exciting parts of this podcast, or this episode, I should say, is we didn't really know what this defense would look like. Was it going to be like a true 3-4? What to me it looked like was like a 5-2, where we had
it kind of was a 3-4 though, like right, like they were almost going 5 down. If you call Hutch and Ojabo or Harrell and Upshaw, I guess those are the 4 guys playing that role.
Mm-hmm.
But they were almost always on the line, and I'd say one of them was generally dropping or not coming, although. So it's like we were playing almost a very true 3-4 with just Nikai Hill Green, and Josh Ross as the 2 linebackers with essentially what it was 5 guys on the line.
It was not 5. I think it was mostly 4. I think it was Hutch and Ojabo, and then. Well, I think that okay. So this is to preface.
We did play it both ways, so it's like we were playing all sorts of things.
That's what it makes sense. That's what Mike McDonald wanted to do. Is just give different fronts. I mean, sometimes we did have a 5 defensive front. Sometimes it was 4, and sometimes it was 3. And I think that's like kind of what Mike McDonald's trying to do with this offense is just give different looks. And I love having Daxella kind of like that, like nickel. Because he's such a good tackler. Like I want him closer to the line of scrimmage and like letting him make more plays and be closer to the football. And then you have Brad Hawkins and RJ Moten at the safety position, who I thought RJ looked solid. Brad had a couple plays where I was like a little confused at what he was doing.
We got to catch that pick. That's one thing.
Yeah,
like,
if
we're playing Ohio State, that like you have to.
And on that touchdown, he got completely the first touchdown they scored. He got like completely washed. It was like he just like got super confused.
What, like, was it a running? Like,
yeah.
Talking like a lineman or a tight end got him, or
go back and watch it after that, and you'll see what I mean. Like he was just kind of like completely lost. Actually, you know what we can try to do? I don't know if this is kind of our first time doing it, but I could try sharing the screen and showing you. I've always wanted to try doing this on an episode.
Yeah, no, but I actually did. I thought my big takeaway from the defense is that this is like the first year. Okay, yeah, but this is like the first year we've had legitimately.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's my fault. Keep going.
What?
I can hear you again.
This is like the first year we've had legitimate depth on the defensive line where we can go probably 2 units of 4 guys. So I think basically how I saw it stacking up was Hutch and Ojabo were the starting. Let's say like base, I think you're right. 4-2 is essentially what we were mostly playing. And it was Hutch Ojabo on the end with Hinton and Jeter look like the 2 starting tackles. And then the next unit generally coming in was Harrell and Upshaw. And then it was, I mean, we were playing a ton of guys. Chris Jenkins was playing a lot. Welshoff was playing. Trying to think of what other. Mozzie Smith actually had a really pretty good game, which was exciting because Mozzie Smith really, I thought, struggled last year, but he looks like he might be a big contributor. So
Mozzie looks solid.
I'm pretty excited. Yeah, no, I actually thought like because even like Jenkins, he wasn't playing a ton, but number 94, he did look really good while he was playing. He's a little bit more of that athletic, smaller D tackle, which I think is kind of what I think that's more what you want now with the amount of spread that's going on. So I like the last few years we've essentially had a couple guys at defensive tackle who it's like, okay, these guys can play. But then you might bring in a Jess Spade, who I thought generally
Jess Spade
just struggled every game I ever saw him. He was made no plays, was never putting any pressure on offenses. So it's like now we have a legitimate crop of guys who can be solid. It kind of like those early years of Don Brown where we had deep defensive lines that we were subbing out every couple plays, and we were taking over games there. So I'm hoping.
Just one thing, and I've always talked about like having depth at the defensive line is big because those big guys can't play that much. So you got to get fresh legs in there. I do want to see Hutchinson play more. I don't think he needs to be subbing on every other drive because they were like rotating the outside linebackers where it would be Ajabo and Hush and then Harrell and who was his running mate? I think it was Upshaw.
Upshaw. It was generally, it looked like.
But like that shouldn't be like a 1-to-1. I think Hush needs to be out there a little bit more than he was. But anyway,
yeah, I imagine that will not be the case because last year him and Quiddy when they were played the whole game.
But again, completely different defensive status. So.
Yeah, but it's just like
you see my screen?
Still Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, I see it.
All right, so this is what they walked up Hawkins, and like he just like kind of like what is he doing all the way over there? Then he falls, and then just like easy. I don't know if he was responsible for contain, but like it's just
could have you been covering somebody? I have no idea. We'll run it back, see if somebody moved across the field.
Just like walking up.
You might have that tight end though. Is honestly.
Yeah, maybe, but then he just gets like completely washed, and then it's just. But you might be right. I don't know. I just
floating. He's floating around. He was not doing anything, so it's not great. But.
All right, I'll stop my share. I wonder if we can do that more. Try if we want.
That might be fun, but I know what also encouraged me a little bit was I thought the corners looked more comfortable today than they.
Oh yeah.
Like Vinny Gray, I thought played really good.
And
no penalties.
They're
Vinny Gray's always been a tackler, which is good. Last year, he just couldn't cover anybody. Yeah. The only big play we gave up in the air was that pass, Gamon Green. That was like, I don't know what he could have done. I mean, his hand was up. He was looking for the ball. He obviously saw it. He just like barely missed it. So it's like
catch. It was a good. They made a good
perfect throw. Like he would have had to really make an unreal play, which he almost did. So I think I don't know. The like mixing in the zone and in more timely blitzes, not just always going. I think will help because those two did look pretty good. I didn't think they were giving up anything. No penalties, no bad big plays. So it's I thought just generally looked way better. Felt more confident in what was going on.
I think the first quarter there might have been just like, and this is probably product of none of these guys have ever played zone, like a zone scheme ever. They've been playing man for the last whatever years Don Brown's been there. And so they're kind of just getting used to dropping back and keeping their eyes like on the quarterback and like being responsible for their areas. I think that we might have like, it just seemed like the first two drives Western Michigan had, there were some openings that maybe like were just too big.
But they were like no more than 5 yards down the field. We weren't like making big openings. I didn't think at like 15 yards.
I thought there were a few the first drive, and then we basically after that first drive, it should have been a 3-and-out if Ajabo doesn't get the Taunton call.
Then we have a 3rd and 10, but I honestly liked how the zone looked. I thought it made everybody. It didn't have to worry about just throwing jump balls on two corners every play, which is just a hard thing to do, I think, for any corner, because essentially you can make 3 good plays and you mess up one and get a penalty or don't get the ball, whatever, you toast. So it's like I just think the scheme, it's a little more fit for how defense probably is being played now on most teams. So I liked what McDonald did. I thought it was a big upgrade from what last year looked like in essentially having the same guys. So
yeah, that's what it's about. Just I think the epitome of like what good defense is making offenses like confused, not like specifically quarterbacks like not sure what they're gonna see, what like after like once that ball snapped. And I think Mike McDonald's trying to do a lot more of that and disguising what he's trying to do, bringing pressure, not every time, but kind of mixing it in. So I'm excited for him. It seems like just the energy's up. And
also, Dax Hill, he's going to be a first-team All-American. He's incredible.
He's a first-round pick. I mean, he's so good.
Unreal. He's like probably the best tackler on the team, at least in space.
Cover guy too, realistically.
Had really good coverage. The one time he was asked to do it, he obviously tipped the ball. So yeah, he didn't give up any coverage. So the other times he was.
What do you think about walking him up as like that nickel corner?
I liked the role he was playing. I think the way we were doing it was essentially 3 safeties and in moving them around the field. And I think that's 3 guys who are fairly versatile. Maybe RJ Moten a little less than the other 2, just because I don't have any reason to trust him in man coverage yet. I think the other 2, I like how Hawkins covers guys. I like how obviously Hill covers guys. So
he'd be a legit cornerback in the NFL. So
that's what the announcer said. I don't think that's. I mean, it'd be tough to move him from safety. He's so good.
I think he was playing more of a nickel for us than anything else. I would not classify what he did yesterday as a safety. We can go back and watch together, but
that could be fair. Yeah,
he was pretty much walked up in the slot every time, which I love because I want him closer to the line of scrimmage. I want him playing man coverage on people because he's really good at it, and I want him being close to the football a lot. He's a very good safety, but he's also our best player on defense, maybe barring Hutchinson. So I want him around the football. I want him like being able to make plays. So I was excited for what I saw from him. Yeah, so I think that'll do it. We covered both the offense and the defense. Obviously, special teams was pretty solid too. We're going to get back. We're going to watch the Washington game. They lost to Montana last night, which is very surprising. We'll talk about the Washington game and give you guys a little preview for next Saturday night, 7 o'clock at the Big House. So we'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for hanging. Peace.